talk about just the way your coach dances. What goes through your head whenever you see him bust a move here and there?
It's fun, man. It's exciting to be able to win games and have coach, react in that kind of way after the game. And I think it's fun for everybody to see that, and we kind of get in on it too. So, he always talks about the fun's in the winning. So I guess he's really trying to, show us that by what happens after games. We put some music on and we start dancing after a game. It's all part of what happens when you can win games and be successful.
I'm surprised how successful the offense has been this season. Every week it just seems to become more and more explosive.
Yeah, definitely. I think this, early in the year we knew we could be this type of offense that we're stepping into right now, and it just, it takes great focus every week. And we've been a great second half football team. The third quarter we were able to put up 35 points this week, and I think that's, I don't know. I think that's just shows you how mature we can be. To come out in the second half and be able to respond like we do. I think we can only go up from here.
Obviously, the offense is doing well. It seems like everybody's getting to do their share, and that makes it more enjoyable. Everybody, last week I think 7 different guys scored touchdowns. Just it seems like it's feeding off of it. You may be the third string wide receiver, but you're going to get your time to shine. Do you think that everybody kind of feels like they're doing part of it?
Yeah, I think the biggest reason for that is I think we got so many weapons. And I don't think the other teams have an answer. You might have an answer for 1 or 2 guys, but you can't keep everyone covered. And as soon as you forget about this guy, we're going to throw it to that guy and just back and forth. I think we have the ability to do that now, especially.
Georgia Tech's been a team that Clemson struggled with over the last in your career here.
Yeah,
it's been one of those tough games. You're going down to their place. Do you expect it to be anything different than that?
No, I don't. Like you said, it's been one of kind of a thorn in our side the last 4 years here. It's been the ACC championship, and we go on and on. Coach Sweeney's first interim job, the first game we ever played with him, we actually lost. But I think it's just one of those things where it's just a huge rivalry, and you can throw all the records and all the stats and everything out the window. It just comes down to who's going to play harder, and I think going there, it's going to be it's going to be a pretty tough environment for us to play in. I'm sure it would be a lot different if we went up there at 12 o'clock than 8 o'clock. But since we're going up at 8 o'clock, it's going to be a little loud and try to make it a lot real hard for us to be able to score as many points as we've been scoring. So it's just going to take the same focus we took to Virginia Tech and Maryland and those kind of games. It's going to take the same focus.
Part of that because you're not
that last trip there in 2009. It seemed like that was a wild game where they got up early and you guys came back and couldn't hang on.
Yeah, it's just I think that had a lot to do with the style of offense we had and what we had to offer. I think we have the ability to score a lot of points, and it makes it difficult for teams to be able to have kind of shoot out with us towards the end. So I think that was the kind of position we were in, is where we couldn't score as many points as we can score now. We have the ability to score. So I think when you can score 50-some points in a ball game, no matter who you play, I think that really puts pressure on the opposing offense, and I think that's what we got to continue to do.
I think it's kind of fair to say their defense just wasn't very good last year. What are they doing different this year? Is it an upgrade in talent, or what do you see?
I just think they make it pretty tough for you to be able to, to defend them or to block them. Excuse me. I think the things that they do up front with kind of the scheme, they kind of, it's kind of a 3-4 at points and times, and then they kind of switch up to an even kind of split defense, and then they make it really difficult for you to be able to, predict what they're going to do, and so they kind of keep you off balance a little bit. But I think if you can, especially us, we've seen everything. We've seen anything you can line up in, really, we've seen it. So I think, there's some things that they're going to do this week that we might not have seen. They do a lot of, we've seen gut blitz, in our careers. Well, that's what makes us really, like I said, we've seen everything. But I think the things that they do, make them a successful defense. They make them good. Because they keep teams' offenses kind of first down. They kind of do some things to keep you, backed up.
What do you think you guys do well as an offensive line? A lot of the credit goes to the playmakers, Boyd, Walker, Johnson, a lot of those guys. What do you guys do well? You're sort of unnoticed, but what do you find yourselves doing that's allowing for the other players to find that success?
Obviously, I think we're a great pass protecting offensive line. I think that we do a great job of kind of keeping Taj back there. He's able to see a lot of things that, normally he might not be able to see. I think we give him all the time he needs. And when we need to run the ball, we hadn't been successful last game, but I think we've, for the most part, we've done a good job of being able to rush the ball and pass the ball. And I think that, like offensive line doesn't necessarily get the credit, and we like it like that. We'd rather not be noticed. But I think that especially up front, we just really discipline. That's our biggest thing. Just staying disciplined and kind of staying together, and keeps us doing our job.
Do you need to stay on the field maybe a little bit longer? Sometimes, obviously, you don't want the 3 and outs, but even maybe the quick strikes, because Georgia Tech's going to move the ball down the field, such long drives, keep your defense out there. Is it maybe important to have your offense be out there a little longer than it's been sometimes?
Well, that's the thing. They have a lot of possession. They keep the clock going the whole game as much as they run the ball, and it's as long as it takes them to get a play out. And then we're so quick strike offense that it's going to hopefully we'll be able to get on the field a lot and be able to score more. I think that's the whole point behind our offense. Obviously, we'll score a lot of points, so hopefully, we can figure this defense out early and be able to score early and put pressure on their offense, and therefore giving our defense a chance to stop them a lot. So that's the plan. I think you don't want to change anything we do, because obviously our advantage is our offense to build a quick strike and kind of gas the defense. And I think if we can do that, that's obviously advantage Clemson. If you can get in the game and build keep their defense kind of where they can't really line up and predict everything. That's the whole point of the offense. And I think if you kind of if you slow us down, that just makes us as average. And I don't think that's what we want to do.
How are you guys going to try to keep the tempo against Georgia Tech? Because you're talking about sort of that right now. You're sort of alluding to it. How are you going to try to keep that tempo when you're not sure when you'll get back on that field again, knowing Georgia Tech can really hold on to the ball?
I think early on the biggest. I think obviously Coach Morris will have his own plan for it, but I think we want to, like I said, early in the game, you want to probably get in there and try to score as fast as you can, quick as you can, because like you said, you don't know when you're going to get the ball back, and you can't think you're going to score if you slow it down. You can't change our scheme necessarily and expect it to work. So I think the biggest thing for us to do is do what we do best, and I think if we get ahead a little bit or we're comfortable, we could slow it down a little bit. But I don't think we're going to try to do anything different, especially early on.
Does their defense attack more, or do they sit back and wait on you to make a mistake more?
I think you probably probably sit back a little bit and read a little bit. That's the whole point of a 3-4 defense. They try to hold their gaps really well. They're very good at fitting their gaps. That's just what they do. Especially in the run game, I think they're like the number one defense. If you take away, if we're just talking conference games and not other games, they're the number one defense in rushing. So I think that's going to make them very hard to run against, and I think they do a good job of doing Coach Grove's scheme. I think it's just a good scheme to stop the run. It's NFL defense.
I think you guys are averaging 78.5 snaps a game. How much have you noticed teams getting worn down, especially in the second half? How much has that been a factor in what you guys have been able to do after halftime?
You especially notice in the fourth quarter. You don't really notice as much until you get into the fourth quarter, and you can really see more kind of bend it over and kind of getting the ball slower, stuff like that. Obviously it's just one of those offenses that wears on the defense, and hopefully for Saturday, hopefully we'll be able to get the ball quick. Like talking about Georgia Tech does a great job of keeping the ball. Hopefully our defense will do a good job of keeping them 3 and out. I think we played in a game or two where we've got the ball a lot more times than we expected to, and that's I expect our defense to hold up good against this offense.
Did you notice in the third quarter Saturday you were North Carolina down 35 points?
You started seeing it there late in the third quarter, especially the way we were scoring in the third quarter.
How important was it to get your backups some playing time, considering they really hadn't played a lot this year?
Big. I guess it was big for us, especially we hadn't been up like that all year on a team. So I think being up by 35 at one point in the game really gave us an advantage to get some guys in there and get them some playing time, because obviously they're going to be really young next year, so it's good for those guys to get in.
You might not have Ellington this weekend, depending how his ankle heals. Obviously, sprains can go either way. Just talk about the possibility of not having them in the backfield and how that might affect the offense.
I think Mike Bellamy is one of those guys, he and DJ Howard as well, are both of those guys who, when they get in the game, they take full advantage of that. And even if we don't play with Andre this week, that could be a possibility, especially with his, his foot right now. It's just one of those things where those guys get their opportunity. They've had their opportunities in games, and they've done the best I've seen freshmen do, especially with DJ Howard and Mike Bellamy. So I think those guys will be ready no matter what happens. I don't think we're worried about I mean, of course, we want to play with Andre, but if we can't play with him, I think we have complete, we have a lot of faith in those guys behind him that they can get in there and do the same thing.
It's just in case it doesn't matter who's behind you guys, think the offense can keep going no matter what?
I think so. I think we got the kind of weapons in the backfield and it's at a wideout to be able to hit people no matter what.
Somebody like Andre is so great at setting up the blocks. One of the best probably that's ever played here.
Yeah.
Do you change anything the way that you do it? If Bellamy's in there or DJ as opposed to Andre, is there anything that you have to adjust to?
I don't think we do. I think that Bellamy does a great job of, like you said, Andre's great at leading on blocks and kind of setting it up and kind of hitting the hole there. He's outstanding at that. But I think Bellamy and DJ Howard are just those type of runners that can find holes when they're not there too. There's the type of backs that make plays out of nothing sometimes. So I think you just take it, take into the game what you have, and I think you don't really change. I mean, we've been running with Mike Bellamy all year and not changing anything. So I think when you can put both those guys in the game and kind of affect the team that way, I think, like I said, I have complete faith in both of those guys.
When Morris was hired in January, he talked about 80 plays per game as a goal. It seemed ambitious to some. I guess you guys were all exchanging high fives. Monday, when he let you guys know that you were leading the country.
Oh yeah, it's huge. When you're leading the country in most snaps, I mean that's big for anybody. I think when we can be able to do that, that says a lot about our offense. Says a lot about what we can do as an offense, and I think. When you can get, average 78 plays a game, you're really making a difference in the other, you're keeping the other defense on the field and you're keeping them gassed. So that's huge for us to be able to have that advantage.
When you first heard that goal, what did you think?
It's kind of mind-boggling. I don't think we've ever been here number one in anything. So to be able to be number one in the country in something, I think that says a lot about what Coach Morris has put in here with that offense and what we're able to do as an offense. And I think, that goes back to where we started, and that's having complete, faith in what Coach Morris does as a coach and believing in the system.
What did you think last summer when you found out Georgia Tech had to forfeit its 2009 ACC championship?
It's an awful thing, when a team can be so successful like that through the year, and then have to forfeit it up. But that's a shame. But the way you look at that is I still think they deserve it, no matter if they had to forfeit or not. They won all the games and they did what they had to do. Although they faced some problems there with NCAA. They were the better team in the ACC that year.